Let's breathe some fire on Broad Street. Coming up on the bench, Syracuse men's basketball couldn't have been hotter headed into the Quaker City for a date with Drexel. But there was not a lot of brotherly love to go around. Winnings come around pretty easy on the women's side though, as you wrapped up a 4-game home slate to begin its season against Wagner and have a trip to the Nutmeg State next up. We'll give you the highs, and our beat reporter Jake Klein may have a surprise.
Plus, Syracuse men's soccer carried its magical ACC tournament run into the semifinals in Cary, North Carolina, the very same city where the Orange claimed their only national championship. Meanwhile, Syracuse field hockey returned to the NCAA tournament for the 5th straight year. Did the Cuse bounce back from a first-round exit a season ago? We'll have to wait and see.
And Syracuse ice hockey finished up a 5-game road swing at State College. The Orange have been cracked the win column in the month of November, and there weren't many smiley faces this weekend in Happy Valley. SU Volleyball has also been victoryless since the calendar turned, and home cooking hasn't changed that. The Cuse concluded a stretch of 4 straight in the women's building this weekend, but could Coach Bake's squad get off the schneid? We've got a whole hour to answer those questions and a whole lot more on this live edition of On the Bench, which starts right now. What is poppin', everyone? Welcome into our CitrusTV studio for another edition of On the Bench, alongside Andrew Della, Piana. I'm Max Gifford. All right, Andrew, elephant in the room. Thanksgiving next week.
Yep.
I think the dinner is overrated. Prove me wrong.
Are you serious?
I do.
Stuffing, glazed carrots,
Don't like 'em,
you got
don't
the
like 'em,
turkey,
don't
the
like
apple
'em,
pie. My mom
don't
makes this
like 'em.
phenomenal Oreo. Are you serious?
I'm more of a pumpkin pie guy.
Do you just hate food in general? Is that what I'm getting at
I
right
like
now?
the pumpkin pie. I like the rolls.
Oh.
But I do think our audience will like our headlines of the week. Not sure if tickets are actually punched anymore. Feel like it's all QR codes nowadays. But Syracuse men's soccer did earn an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament on Monday. This is the Orange's 10th time being selected to compete for a national championship and their first trip to college soccer's biggest dance since 2023. For head coach Ian McIntyre, there's something special about this year's squad.
Look, I know we're coming off a tough loss against a very good SMU team, but this is a group that's picked itself up. We've got, it's probably the strongest that our locker room's been since winning the national championship in 2022. And our guys have lent into one another. They haven't pulled apart when they've had every opportunity to.
Coach, I like this national recognition thing. Let's stick with it, because number 5 Syracuse men's cross country won the NCAA Northeast Regional on Friday to secure the program's 17th consecutive trip to the national championships. That streak is currently the 3rd longest in the nation, only behind Colorado and BYU. The NCAA championships get underway on Saturday in Columbia, Missouri. The Orange are in search of their first team title since 2015.
Let's call a spade a spade. There's been little to no good news to come out of the gridiron in a good amount of time for Syracuse football. That is until Tuesday rolled around and the news broke that the Orange will have some reinforcements returning. Quarterback Steve Angeli, guard Byron Washington, and running back Yasin Willis are set to play for SU in 2026. The 3 starters confirmed their status for next season after yesterday's practice. Last week we noted that 2A Demetrius Samuel Jr. was expected to come back to Cuse as well. And head coach Fran Brown cleared up that both coordinators Jeff Nixon and Elijah Robinson will also run it back. Safe to say the future might actually be bright for the football team.
Thank goodness, right? After this season? My
Syracuse
God.
men's basketball, on the other hand, through its first 2 games, has been about as good as you can be. Literally. The Orange owned the best defense in the nation. Yeah, you heard that right. The entire country. So could that carry over on the road with Drexel on the docket? The Autumn Invitational brought some Syracuse royalty out to Broad Street. Carmelo was in attendance, Kai and Anthony making his second start in his Syracuse uniform, and you really wouldn't have thought he was a freshman the way he took it to the Dragons early on. Simple scoop just a minute in, and you can't sugarcoat the fact that Drexel didn't come to lose either. Some sweet passes from the Dragons and some sweet put-ins like that kept them from digging themselves a hole. Syracuse hadn't faced a deficit all season up to this point, so some uncharted waters for SU, but then it's Tyler Betsy from beyond the arc, making it a 1-point game halfway through the first. The Cincinnati kid was 2 for 2 in his first 6 minutes on the court, and unfortunately that was all he would get. after a foot injury sidelined him for the rest of the game. Cayenne Anthony, though, continued to do Cayenne Anthony things. He led this game with 18 points. Right behind him, though, who else but Donnie Freeman? He had 13. Syracuse feeling itself up by 6 with 6 minutes to go. Drexel dunking it down and keeping it close on the other end. But Syracuse still battling at the end of that first half. Nathan George with the schoolyard spinning in to end the first half. And into the second, Cayenne Anthony just continued to cook, and he was really in a rhythm. Down by that right block, SU sprinted out to a 14-4 run, and the defense followed suit. I feel like it's that how to train your dragon cliche. Every dragon has a blind spot. Find it, hide in it, and then you'll see it right here. Strike! Back-to-back blocks on back-to-back possessions for Syracuse, and everyone was getting involved. Luke Fennell laying it up for William Kyle. Syracuse had 10 different scores in this contest, and it ended with a dagger of Donnie Freeman once again, dunking it down. What a second half surge for Syracuse to destroy the Dragons. 80-50 the final. Noah Liddell even finishing with his first minutes of this season. He isn't a very good player, just like Harry Truman wasn't a very good president.
You think so?
Shout out Missouri though. But can you imagine the Toronto Varsity Blues and the Quantico Marines playing in the transfer portal era and what that would look like?
Those poor guys had to go up against, who was on that Syracuse 1949 squad? Do you know that well in your archives?
No idea.
I don't, but I do recognize Binghamton, Delaware State, and Drexel. This defense has been very impressive.
Cues are clicking early on, but what about the other team within the team? Head coach Adrian Autry enlighten us.
We knew we were talented. We knew we could play 9 to 10 guys. And the bench is what we call our juicing station. They provide energy, they got the juice, and once they get in the game, they bring the juice. To answer the question, who drives it, we got a bench captain. That's Noah Liddell. He's the guy that is making sure everyone is, bringing the energy and bringing the juice. It's a big job. It's a big responsibility,
Big job, big responsibility.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when your elementary school teacher says, I need someone to do a big job for me.
I need someone to go take attendance down at the office for me.
Right,
something
exactly.
Like that, yeah.
It's just something that's so irrelevant. It's just not needed at all. But all this talk about, needing the juice kind of made me a little thirsty. But the problem is we
don't have any.
It seems like we have some drinks over here.
Where'd those come from?
But we're on the air. We can't actually drink it. I mean, someone needs to give us. Wait.
Oh my God! Bartender!
Rahill Jaiswal
My mom told me
joining
to get a
us
real
in
job.
studio.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I'm doing well. Well, thanks for giving us glasses. I have to say,
Love these.
it's early on in this show, but I'm already kind of thirsty, and I think it's time to start our own sort of juicing station, if you will. I want to make that clear. Can you move out of the way real quick? This is the juicing station. Nothing
very
else.
clear.
This is not copyright. This is an original idea. The juicing
Shout out our
station.
producer.
But I gotta be honest, I would love some juice in my glass right now. But
Of course.
I love some fruit.
See the little twirl?
ADP knows.
I learned this at school.
I can tend to be a little fruity at times. So I'm wondering, who's been given some of the most fruit? Who's been given some of the most juice to Syracuse over this stretch?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys you can look to off the bench, but the main guy to me, Max, is Sadiq White. And now, I know his game against Monmouth last night wasn't the best. He fouled out, a little aggressive with the referees, but overall, if you're a Syracuse fan, you have to be happy what Sadiq White has given you off the bench, particularly in that game against Delaware State where he finished in double figures. But overall, guys, the energy he has brought defensively. Remember, all we were hearing from practice was that Sadiq White was a dog defensively. He brings that energy, and he has done that per se. He has now worked his way to the point where he can play some really meaningful minutes in ACC play, and I think a lot of Syracuse fans weren't expecting that come this Vegas tournament that's coming up, and that's going to be the most important stretch to start their season. This is really where the season begins, guys.
Definitely given some meaningful juice. I guess I need to swirl this a
All
little.
right, you work on that about
Smell
the
real
most
quick.
juice, but you're talking about Sadiq White.
Pour you a glass. I'll pour you a glass.
Okay, thank you. He's been very impressive so far. He's the highest-rated freshman on this Syracuse team. But this is the juicing station. I want to know who needs some more juice on this SU roster.
Yeah, again, this is an interesting
Give him
question.
some more. He
Give him
needs some more.
Look how much that is. You okay with a little more?
Oh,
He
of
wants some
course.
more juice.
Is there pulp in that? Better not be. I'm allergic.
No,
I'm
it's
just
okay.
kidding.
It's okay. It's okay.
Who needs that more juice though?
We're a new thing.
Like
right
my
here,
glass. Here we go.
Anyway, to get back to your question, Andrew, I'm going a little interesting route here. The guy that can maybe give a little more off the bench is Ibrahim Soiree. And I know he doesn't play that much. And listen, he's a guy that's never going to fill up the stat sheet. That's just not his role. He's a little bit challenged offensively with his game. But overall, this is a guy at Georgia Tech that toward the middle half of the season found himself playing 20 to 25 minutes for 20 consecutive contests, 19 of them coming in ACC play. And overall, he's someone that can really be valuable for SU off the bench. Unfortunately, had worked his way into a little bit of foul trouble early in contests, but I definitely think Soiree can find a role on this team and really help out in games like last night where, guys are in foul trouble. You don't want to play William Kyle too many heavy minutes, but I think Ibrahim Soiree is a guy has a little untapped potential off the bench.
Well, I know a guy that doesn't need any juice, and that's this guy,
I
Rahill
appreciate
Jaiswal.
that.
Thank you so much
for extra here, though.
We will take the extra
we're not
one.
allowed to tip our bartenders, but I think you should have some juice.
Oh, thank
There
you.
you
I
go,
mean,
my
I do
friend.
take cash, $20.
Oh, not right now. Maybe a little bit later.
They actually ran out of
Mom,
pennies, if
this
you
job
didn't
was
know.
supposed
I
to
don't
make
have
me
those
money.
anymore.
All right, thanks so much,
no, of
Rahill.
course,
Well,
guys.
Syracuse probably didn't think it needed to get juiced up for a 9 o'clock tip-off last night against Monmouth on a Tuesday night. The 3-0 Orange facing the 1-2 Hawks. No problem, right? Syracuse might have been more focused, though, on the gauntlet ahead in Las Vegas than worrying about Monmouth. Let's take you out to the Dome to see how this one fared between Syracuse and Monmouth. And it wasn't pretty for Syracuse early, but look who's back in the lineup. J.J. Starling, after missing 2 games, getting hurt in that Binghamton one. Drive to the lane with about 6 minutes left in the first half. That is Starling's first points of the season to put Syracuse up by 3. Then the Energizer Bunny off the bench, Kyan Anthony. He has been phenomenal, banging his head against the stanchion. He's ready to go, but the Orange only up by 3 after 20 minutes. They got to start figuring it out. And the big reason why the Hawks are still in this game is because of Justin Ray, the sharpshooter for the Hawks. 25 points, a career high in this one. 5 triples, 4 points in game 1 of the season for him, 6 in game number 2. He's keeping Monmouth within this ball game, but Syracuse would start to pick up the pace a little bit more. High-flying William Kyle and a great lob from Nate George. Expect to see that all season long. That gives Syracuse an 8-point advantage with about 10 minutes left in this ball game. Kyle staying aggressive once more on the offensive ends, but swinging around the horn to Nate Higgs, finally finding his form. 3 3-pointers last night for the Oregon State transfer. That puts Syracuse up by 14, maybe in the driver's seat. Sadiq White with another big slam on the alley-oop. But Monmouth starting to hang around a little bit in this second half, especially in that final 5 minutes, because some big shots were made, especially Jason Rivera Torres from distance. He makes this a 5-point game with 95 seconds left, but Donnie Freeman puts the icing on the cake as Syracuse takes this one 78-73, and a little bit of a scare, Max, don't you think?
It really was, and I think what's scarier than ever is the free throw percentage that you're seeing right there, and especially just Syracuse as a whole in that game. It was really scary. That J.J. Starling hitch free throw where he airballed it
did not look
was not
good.
pretty on. I don't love what head coach Adrian Autry said, that it's something that'll just improve, that they'll get better at it.
Better figure it out quick then.
Right, they really need to figure it out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to continue to enjoy this juice because we've got to take a timeout here on the bench. Take a breather, whatever you want to call it, because on the other side it's, Ophelia. Got the Orange on my mind, they're on a run. Ophelia. We'll break it down on OTB when we're back on.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Welcome back to On the Bench from our CitrusTV studio alongside my good friend Max Gifford. I'm Andrew Della, Piana. Max, a lot of good juice in that first segment of the show.
I'm
I
full
really
right
like
now.
that. Oh, we'll get you some water in a little bit then. But I got a question. Were you a video games guy growing up?
I was. I was primarily a Wii guy. I liked Wii Sports, Super Mario Bros. I played with my dad a ton. That was my favorite.
What was the settings you put the game on, though?
Rookie mode, every time.
Oh, really? That's interesting because Syracuse women's basketball, they've been playing on rookie mode to start the season. A demolition of Stony Brook, followed by dominant wins over UAlbany and Canisius. The offense averaging nearly 80 points per game right now. That's top third of Division I. But on Sunday against Wagner, it was someone hit pause in the game and switch those settings to beginner mode against the Seahawks because, oh boy, this one got out of hand quickly in favor of the Cuse. Dominique Darius getting things started. Syracuse staying nice and aggressive on the defensive end as well. 14 steals in this one. Darius is the recipient to make it 8-2, and the Orange would start to light things up, as you said. Ophelia and Layla Felia making it 20-4 after one quarter of play. Just 4 points for Wagner in the opening 10 minutes. And then Awumbawale Akiwawala makes a huge basket there on the N1. And then Syracuse would continue to dominate, especially with Sophie Burrows getting a big steal. The Orange 43-17 at the break. This is an Orange crush, if you will. This has been New York dominance over these teams. Layla Felia from distance on the corner three. She gets fouled for the N1 opportunity for the old-fashioned 4-point play. But everyone was really getting involved, though, for the Orange, including Uche Izoche on the easy layup. That box score really tells it all. Wagner had 13 points in that second quarter, didn't get to double digits in any other frame of this game. Even Olivia Schmidt, in her first game of the season, gets in on the scoring. And the Orange, they just wouldn't stop putting the ball in the basket to get to 78 points in this one, including the freshman Camden Nelson, her first career start. Syracuse wins this one 78-29 over Wagner. And my good God, Max, Felicia Leggett-Jack's team just put on a demolition of the Wagner Seahawks.
We've had an orange juice, we've had orange crush, and Coach Jack has mentioned just how much she prides herself and her team on their defense, and she thinks that's what's going to take them to the next level. And it's pretty simple. Coach Jack has beaten up on almost all the cupcakes in the Cuse's campaign so far. That changes this weekend when Syracuse meets Utah and Michigan at Mohegan Sun Arena for the Basketball Hall of Fame's Women's Showcase. Our beat reporter Jake Klein is standing by in studio to give us some insight to these Connecticut clashes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Max. It's been about as good a start as you could possibly ask for Syracuse women's basketball. 4 wins, all in dominant fashion. The closest game, that 19-point win over UAlbany. So Syracuse seems to have some star power again, right? You heard Max with his little song there. Layla Felia, the Texas transfer. Dominique Darius, the USC transfer. They're leading the way, 13 points a game. Freshman Uche Izoche has been the pleasant surprise that Felicia Leggett-Jack promised. 12 points in 5 boards a game, I should say, for her. This version of Syracuse, though, has really pulled away with what Max just talked about. The defense. It's what Felicia Leggett-Jack has prided herself on all season. Syracuse allowing just 49 points a game. That's top 20 in the nation. They're forcing top 30 turnover rate in every game. So the defense has really been the big driver to this 4-0 start for Syracuse. But now it gets real. There's no more Stony Brook. There's no more Wagner, at least for the time being. Friday marks the start of the Basketball Hall of Fame Women's Showcase in Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut. And look, it's litmus test time for Syracuse. We'll start with Game 1, Friday against Utah. This is going to be a wake-up call for Syracuse, right? None of SU's first 4 opponents rank in the top 150 in the Her Hoops rankings. Utah's in the top 40. So right away, a test for Syracuse. The Utes lost a lot from the team that went to the NCAA tournament last year, but the one thing they still do is they kill you from the outside. Nearly 42% on three-pointers so far in this young season. Perimeter defense has to be sharp for Syracuse in this game, and that's especially true because Utah also turns it over a ton. 6th most giveaways of any power conference team. I mentioned Syracuse excels in causing those turnovers, so Syracuse wants to keep pace with Utah on Friday and stay undefeated. Perimeter defense could be the difference maker. That brings us to Game 2. It's the big one. Number 6 Michigan taking on Syracuse Sunday afternoon. Michigan is the highest ranked team Syracuse has played in 2 seasons since the NCAA tournament against UConn with Deasia Fair still on the team. And as always, Michigan has won with physicality this season. The defense has been fantastic. Teams are shooting just 30% from the field against the Wolverines, and they have out-rebounded everyone who's come into their path so far. The Maize and Blue started the week as number 14. Now they're up to 6 in the AP poll after they smoked number 18 Notre Dame, which we all thought would be one of the best teams in the ACC. SU and U of M also have a common opponent, right? Syracuse beat Canisius by 24, while Michigan beat them by 60. So if Syracuse wants to even keep this thing close, they have got to match the physicality of Michigan defensively and on the glass. Guys, win, lose, split, whatever happens down at Mohegan Sun, we'll know a lot more about Syracuse on the other side.
Jake, don't have too much fun down at the casino in Connecticut, please. The time for fun is over for Syracuse men's soccer. The ACC tournament wrapped up, and the NCAA tournament is tomorrow. Syracuse field hockey is also fixated on getting back to the Final Four. It's all about the play on the pitch when On the Bench is back.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
More on the bench from our CitrusTV studios. Back alongside Max Gifford. I'm Andrew Della, Piana. Max, my favorite thing about mid to late fall is the postseason heating up with fall sports. We finally get that nice time of the year where the weather cools down, and then the postseason really kicks into play because Syracuse men's soccer entered Thursday's ACC semifinal, riding some momentum. The Orange had won 3 of their last 4 games, and it was up against an SMU team it had already defeated. SU has revitalized its season after a difficult start. However, everything came crashing down as the Mustangs were saying, pony up. We take it in Parry, North Carolina, the site of the ACC tournament semifinals. The Mustangs and the Orange, as we mentioned, meeting for the second time. Syracuse won that first meeting 2-0, but SMU just about 8 minutes left in the first half, getting things started with Makusa Emmanuel to make it 1-0 SMU. Then 7 minutes later, just 50 seconds to go in the second half, Ryan Clayton Clemente, 2-0 Mustangs. Just like that in a blink of an eye. What is going on with Syracuse in this one? Played so well defensively in that upset against NC State in the quarterfinals. They did not get a lot of help to their goaltender, Tomas Hutt, in this one. Charles Emilie Bruna, 3-0 SMU. This one starting to get ugly. Maybe a little bit help from Tomas Hutt. He had just 2 saves in this one after 9 saves in that quarterfinal against NC State. And SMU really just wouldn't stop fighting the back of the net from every angle too. Tomas Hutt maybe a little bit out of position, didn't got a lot of help from his defense. It was set pieces, anything you can imagine from the Mustangs. They were getting a good look at Hutt. Again, that's just his second save of the contest. And then Lanham Hickam, the easy touch there. 5 different goal scorers for SMU as they cruise in a 5-1 victory. But good news for the Orange, they got the goal back with Nathan Scott on a penalty kick. Boo-hoo, the Orange go down 5-1 to the Mustangs to the eventual ACC championship in SMU. And Syracuse has been pretty good in the ACC tournament. You think about that run they made in 2022 when they beat Clemson to win the national championship. So this team, they know how to get it done once they get to the postseason.
Right, they have a championship and playoff pedigree about them, and that all stems back to Ian McIntyre and what he's done with this program, and the results speak for themselves in this case.
Well, the committee thought Syracuse did enough to get into the NCAA tournament because Syracuse set to host Hofstra for the first round coming tomorrow night for the SC Soccer Stadium. But for more on the bracket in the Big Dance, we send things over to our beat reporter, Adam Hipsky. Adam?
It's that time of year, win and move on, or lose and go home. From upset wins to a blowout loss to a brand new postseason, Syracuse men's soccer has been through it all these past few weeks. Right now, we'll lay out the bracket, the matchups, and what Syracuse must fix if it wants to survive and advance in November and December. The NCAA Men's Soccer Championship features 48 teams. 16 get a first-round bye, and another 16 host in the first round. Syracuse was lucky enough to earn one of those home sites this year. 22 automatic bids go to conference champions. The rest selected at large by the NCAA committee. Let's talk Syracuse and how the Orange got here. Syracuse entered the ACC tournament needing wins, and well, it delivered early. First, a 2-1 win over Virginia Tech, then a shocker, a 3-0 upset of NC State, a team that was ranked top 5 nationally at the time and one of the most solid defensive teams in the entire country. The Wolfpack had allowed just 4 goals all season. Syracuse matched 3/4 of that total in one night in Raleigh. Goals from Shaquille Ming, Carlos Zambrano, and Chimere Omese punched the Orange into the semifinals, and most importantly, restored belief heading into Cary. But once they got there, it unraveled. In the semifinal against SMU, Syracuse was just overwhelmed from the start, falling 5-1. The Mustangs attacked relentlessly, and for the second straight match, Syracuse asked goalkeeper Tomas Hutt to stand on his head. But this time wasn't enough. Hutt had made a career-high 9 saves against NC State in the quarterfinal. Against SMU, he simply faced too many uncontested chances, and the Orange couldn't absorb that pressure. Nathan Scott did convert a penalty in the 85th minute for the lone Syracuse goal, but by then the match was well out of reach. All of that sets the stage for their first-round matchup with Hofstra, a team that comes in with confidence and 2 very dangerous goal scorers that lead the way. We'll start with Laurie Goddard, and right behind him is Daniel Burko, a former Syracuse forward. Burko loves to attack off the dribble and punish defensive breakdowns. That's exactly the type of player that Syracuse struggled with in that ACC semifinal against SMU. There's also a shared measuring stick between these two teams. Both Syracuse and Hofstra beat Loyola Maryland 1-0, but in very different styles. We'll start with Syracuse. Controlled the tempo early in this matchup, winning behind a Tim Bradarich header in the 11th minute. Hofstra, meanwhile, leaned on its defense, scoring late and locking down the game with organized backline play to secure its 4th straight win at the time. So when these two meet, Syracuse knows exactly what's at stake. If the Orange are going to advance, they'll need to clean up the back line and finish those chances that they create. And if Syracuse wins, well, they'll face number 1 seed Vermont, the defending national champs. This one, it would be a rematch of the 2022 NCAA quarterfinal when Syracuse beat Vermont on its way to the national championship. The Catamounts earned a first-round bye and have yet to lose a game this season. So the path is tough. Survive Hofstra, and the reward is the tournament's top seed. But Syracuse has pulled off upsets before and recently at that. Now they get to start this run at SU Soccer Stadium. I'll have coverage for every postseason match for the Orange on my X at Adam Hipsky. Guys.
Well, Adam, always exciting to see the possibilities for what the playoffs could bring. The only team who's made the NCAA tournament in all our 4 years here at school is Syracuse Field Hockey. And the Orange were one of the 18 finalists to take the pitch for the most prestigious fortnight in college field hockey this weekend in a top 10 tilt against Liberty. Speaking of fortnight, where are we dropping, girls? Well, Princeton, New Jersey isn't necessarily Pleasant Park, and Liberty hoping to forget that SU eliminated them from this tournament 2 years ago. Straight to the second quarter, who else but Bo Von Kempen to break the seal on this one. She's leaving it all out there as well. With the APC strike, plus playing 80 minutes, I mean, that is just pure insanity. Just 10 minutes later, a finish in front by Kylie Faust. So 1-1 after 1 half. Liberty had a shot to take the lead after the ball was kicked out of bounds, but how about Jesse Iceland with just a perfect read on Dara St. Martin. Then just a couple minutes later, you talk about capitalizing on mistakes. Hattie Madden makes no mistake about this one, and it's 2-1 Qs just before the final quarter. That takes us to the final minute. Lots of pressure on the Lady Flames. APC opportunity denied once by the DPC. That meant one last cross towards cage, and it's Josefina Tomasi with the tip to tie things at 2. 2 overtimes later, things had to be settled in a shootout. And here's the best part about field hockey shootouts. If you miss your first shot, that's fine, because you can get your rebound and score like Danique Shormand just did. Liberty needed a goal bad though, so Lou Combrink came out with a little spinorama, putting Jesse Iceland in the laundry machine. SU led 4-2 in the shootout, and Lynn Farquhar gives the call to the freshman Aubrey Turner, who twirls her way to victory. SU's first shootout win in 7 seasons to stay alive in the NCAA tournament. It seems like that's something SU would be strong at, but that simply hasn't been the case.
7 seasons?
Correct.
I remember that Wake Forest game back in 2023 where that was their only win in ACC play, and you're thinking, how does Syracuse lose that game? But they got it done, and the Orange finally get over the hump thanks to Aubrey Turner. However, the quarterfinals meant another giant to slay in Princeton. The home team, SU, won the regular season meeting 1-0 in overtime with Bo Von Kempen as the hero. But who would be the difference maker for Syracuse to reach the NCAA semifinals for just the 5th time in program history? Let's go back down to the Garden State. No Fortnite needed for this one because the Orange and the Tigers meeting for the 2nd time this season, and it was really tough for Syracuse and Princeton to find some sort of offense. Allie Schneider gets her shot off, but Beth Yeager also a good chance on goal. That's the 4-time Ivy League Offensive Player of the Year. You're going to listen for her name in just a little bit. But last moment of the first half, Princeton gets another good luck on from Lily Wojcik. We are scoreless, though, after 1 quarter of play. Both teams trying to provide a little bit of spark. Best chance for the Tigers, but it just whistles wide of Iceland. Maybe got a piece of that, but Syracuse hustling back on defense. Then another APC for Syracuse. That one misses wide. We are scoreless after 1 half of play in this win-or-go-home matchup. Into the 3rd quarter now. Aubrey Turner finds the ball into the back of the net, but it is called back. No goals, so we remain at a 0-0 game. But Princeton finally cashes in. Prue Lindsay, the tip home on the back door. What a beautiful redirection to make it 1-0 Princeton. We go into crunch time now with Syracuse down by 1. And who do you turn to? Bo knows. Bo Von Kempen ties it at 1 with just about 5 minutes left in the contest. But oh no, it's Beth Yeager, the only player in Ivy League history to have 4 consecutive Ivy League Player of the Year awards. Princeton takes this one 2-1 over Syracuse, and the season is over.
Death, taxes, and Syracuse falling out just before the Final Four. A single tear just kind of shed down my eyes. We're now joined by Sydney. Still can't win the Big One, Chan. I mean, what's going on, Sydney? Women's lacrosse makes it to the Elite Eight. Field hockey makes it to the Elite Eight. Still can't get to that final weekend of field hockey or women's lacrosse for that matter. But how would you assess Syracuse's season as a whole?
Now, I know that you may not have been the most positive about this season, but overall, I'd say it's really, really impressive. Remember, Syracuse welcomed 17 newcomers this season, including 13 freshmen, and the Orange still managed to stay locked in the top 10 of the coaches' poll all season long. They made a strong showing over some notable ranked opponents, made a deep showing in the ACC tournament, and even pushed their way to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. That alone says a lot about the coaching staff, the culture, and how much work SU pushed in the offseason. Yes, we did see some inexperience show up late in some tight games, some avoidable fouls, some moments of hesitation that really proved costly, because in that Princeton game, the Tigers ended up scoring the game-winning goal in the final minutes off the APC. But again, for a team that basically had to start from scratch in August, making it just 1 goal away from the Final Four is a fantastic season in my book.
But Sydney, I mean, I still say you had Bo Von Kempen back for a 2nd year. You had a much better Hattie Madden and some international transfers as well. I mean, all right. I mean, that's water under the bridge at this point. Season's over. Was there anyone else that stood out to you as far as this season was concerned?
Yeah, it has to be one of the newcomers in freshman forward Aubrey Turner. She's been absolutely outstanding. She really showed up in that Lock Haven season opener, 2 goals in that one, and hasn't slowed down. She made some crucial saves, or crucial goals rather, in the ACC tournament, and also that game-winning shootout score over Liberty. You can see it right there. So nifty with her stick skills, so aggressive in the circle and just so composed. Those are some moments of pressure that no freshman really ever thinks they're going to be able to face, let alone handle with that much composure, and she did it beautifully. But it's not only just the numbers, even that, she sets the tone of SU's attack. She's really aggressive, she's really nifty, and head coach Lynn Farquhar has also mentioned, she's crucial to that first line of defense. Her aggressive press is really clear. So if this is just the baseline for her freshman year, the sky's really the limit.
And it's been fun to see how some of those freshmen have stepped up, because it's normally been the seniors have taken the helm, whether it's Bo Von Kempen, whether it's the Avin Nieuwenhof, Charlotte DeVrieses of past years. But there's still a lot of question marks about this team going into next year because you won't rely on that seniority. Who are you most concerned about going into next season?
I mean, you said it. I'm very concerned about the defense because Syracuse is graduating its entire defensive core. Bo Von Kempen, Patty Strunk, Danique Sherman, and Lottie Knights. That group's logged a ton of minutes together and is the backbone of SU's structure. You really can't replace that experience overnight. And beyond just open defense play, those first three in Von Kempen, Strunk, and Sherman, they're absolutely crucial on Syracuse's attacking penalty corner unit. Besides those two shootout finishes, SU scored 31 of its 59 goals off the APC. That's over 52%. So one of the biggest storylines in the offseason for sure will be how quickly Syracuse can rebuild that defense and also that APC unit.
Yeah, rebuilding that back line will be really important. It reminds me of when I was the Field Hockey Beat reporter a couple years ago. Syracuse had the ACC Defender of the Year in Avin Nieuwenhof, and the second best player was a freshman, Mirtha von Bolhaus. Shout out Mirtha von Bolhaus. All right, well, Sydney, Field Hockey Mafia forever. Great job on your coverage all season. We're not done doing that hockey just yet on the bench. Syracuse hasn't had favorable history on the ice against Penn State. The Orange had fallen in 5 straight to the Nittany Lions, so did the 6 or 7 time change? Let's put it this way. SU needed more than just my brain rot to be the victors. SU volleyball has also been on the struggle bus as of late. We tell you the latest for Coach Bake and Coach Brett after the break.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where'd the cats go on vacation? New York.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Keep things rolling on here on the bench. Max Gifford, Andrew Della, Piana back with you on this beautiful Wednesday night. Max, I'm someone that likes to get my work done more when I'm outside of our house.
I know. I live with you.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm someone who's got to get to the library. There's a lot of distractions. Maybe not so at our house, but you got TV,
I'm not
video game. There's a whole lot going on. And I think Syracuse women's ice hockey is feeling the same way because they've been listening to a lot of Willie Nelson over the last few weeks. On the road again. The Orange still haven't had a home game in the month of November, and Syracuse's road trip continued against number 6 Penn State. Good news for the Orange, they're 6-2 away from Tennessee. Bad news is the Nittany Lions are the only remaining unbeaten team in the country, and that's really for good reason. Penn State, top 5 in both scoring offense and scoring defense. This team really does it all, and they showed you why in the first 24 seconds. Caitlin Roberts scores on the back door. Remember, she had the game-winning goal in overtime at Tennessee a season ago. Then Danica Maynard, who has been one of the best freshmen in the country. She leads the conference with 11 assists, but finding the back of the net there. It's already 2-0 Penn State after 1 period of play. Ava Drabick was getting punished in this one. She saw a plethora of shots, 43 of them for 36 saves, and Penn State was not stopping anytime soon. Easy score on the 2-on-1 coming back the other way. Penn State capitalizes once more with Grace Outwater. That's the touchdown. And maybe let's just throw on the extra point for good measure by Matilda Fadine. Penn State rolls through Syracuse in game 1, 7-0, and Max, it had to get better In game 2, right? Please, right?
You certainly hope so. You did miss the chance, though, Andrew, to say, touchdown, Penn State. You're right, things had to go at least a little better, right? And they actually did, because Syracuse scored the opening goal in this one. How about Riley McLeod? I mean, you might as well call her the Devin Hester of hockey, because it was all Penn State afterwards in that first period. 4 unanswered goals and 3 points from Kylie Roberts. She was absolutely remarkable in this one, and so was that Penn State power play. Back-to-back games with 3 5-on-4 strikes. The final one right here off the stick of the freshman Micah Keller, 4-1 after the first frame. SU would in fact cut the deficit in half, courtesy of Celia Wiegand. But Penn State doesn't need James Franklin to score touchdowns if that hasn't been clear, and it's pretty obvious why. The Nittany Lions notched another 7 unanswered goals in the second and third periods to propel Penn State to a program record 11 goals, and they beat the Orange to a pulp in University Park. Just the 4th time Syracuse has surrendered double-digit goals. But the issue, as I see it, Andrew, 3 of those have been under Brittany Smith.
They have, Max, and that's why we bring in the women's ice hockey beat reporter Jared Valentin to answer all of our questions after Penn State outscored Syracuse 18-2 over the weekend. So, Jared, how can Syracuse improve the rest of the season after that beatdown in Happy Valley?
Yeah, it was a beatdown to say the least. And Andrew, the Orange improved by not letting 1 goal scored from the opposition turn into multiple goals scored from the opposition. That's exactly what happened last weekend against Penn State. The Orange got scored on less than 24 seconds into the opening period, and from there, the Nittany Lions completely took off. Another goal scored 2 minutes later, and the Orange went on to get shut out 7-0. Now, in the second game, Andrew, like Max mentioned, things got off to a bit of a better start. Syracuse was the ones to score first, but then the same exact thing happened. 2 goals scored in a 90-second span from Penn State, and the Orange got destroyed. An 11-2 final at Kennedy Ice Pavilion. Not to mention, Andrew, Syracuse also has to capitalize on the offensive side. SU has a 12% power play conversion rate that is second to last in the AHA, so you have to capitalize on the chances that you get on offense while also making sure 1 goal scored does not lead into multiple from the opponent.
Yeah, that's not good at all, my friend. Good news, though, is you get the beast out of the way in Penn State. So where does SU really go from here? Now we roll on deeper into conference play.
Andrew, you know how Dory from Finding Nemo has short-term memory loss?
Yeah, I think most of us do, in all honesty. Yeah.
That's what Syracuse needs going forward, and I'll tell you why. What the Orange have ahead is a big home stretch and a big opportunity to earn some revenge wins. Syracuse needs to just keep swimming, because what the Orange have ahead is a 4-game home stretch against opponents that beat down on Syracuse this year and last year. It starts out with a 2-game home series against Mercyhurst, the squad that eliminated Syracuse in the AHA semifinals last year. Then Syracuse welcomes number 5 Cornell. Syracuse got destroyed when number 5 Cornell played Syracuse on the road at Cornell back in October, a 5-0 final. And then Syracuse plays RPI, the first game at Kennedy Ice Pavilion, the second game on the road. Syracuse was swept by RPI last season, so these are a big opportunities for Syracuse to get some revenge wins, get some momentum at home. And Andrew, Syracuse still looking for its first win at Kennedy Ice Pavilion. The Orange are 0-5 at home, so just keep swimming, and forget about that Penn State series and move on to what's ahead.
We got the team coming up this weekend that eliminated from the postseason last year in Mercyhurst. You can follow that guy's coverage, Jared Valentin, on X for all your in-game updates. JV, thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
See, this is why On the Bench is better than ESPN, because we have people singing, just keep swimming. We also know that the puck is more than black and that the ice is more than slippery. It is not as slippery as Syracuse volleyball slope down the stretch of its season, though. The Orange took on a pair of teams from the Tar Heel State and had their sights on stopping a 4-match slide. We begin with Wake Forest on Friday. The story of the skid for Syracuse has been none other than flat starts, but that was not the case in this contest. Head coach Fakir Degesharatnam wanted his team to bring the energy, and he got that in set number 1, which was one of the Orange's best sets of the season. The numbers on the screen say it all right there. Consistency on those hits were key, and a lot of limited errors as well. That being said, Wake Forest remembered and did some thinking, and remember they have 11 players that are above the 6-foot threshold. 4 of them are 6'3" or taller. That's like going against 4 versions of myself if I was actually athletic or actually talented. Jokes aside, Wake was much more talented than SU in nearly every area. Points, kills, assists, digs, and aces. You don't win many games by not winning any of those categories. Wake takes it 3-1.
You do not. Let's stay with another team on Tobacco Road. NC State taking the trip up to the Cuse, a pair of 5 and 10 teams in the ACC. It is really tight right now as we get down the final stretch. And Sydney Waller doing her part, though, for Syracuse. 15 kills on 26 attempts would just be one error. Syracuse would win the first set 25-20, but Lily Copper on the back line for the Pack. She led the team with 3 aces in this one as NC State took that second set, and then a plethora of errors for Syracuse in the third set. They blew a 7-point lead, and then kind of, oh no, happened from there. Jordan Smith delivers the final 3 tallies in that final set, and NC State takes it 3-1 over Syracuse on senior day. And Max, the slate coming up for the Cuse does not get any easier. Pitt, SMU, maybe a little bit easier with Clemson and VTech, but those first 2 opponents on the road, oh boy.
And it's pretty obvious that Syracuse is not as healthy as they could be up to this point. Gabby McLaughlin has been playing through some injuries and some struggles. Tyler George has also struggled during the stretch, so they really need some of their best killers to get going down the stretch if they want a chance to even compete in these matches.
I absolutely do. Pitt, SMU on the docket should be fun matches on the road. But when we come back on the bench, Max and I will do our best Huey Lewis in the news impression because we're going back in time for Syracuse football or OTB after this.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look.
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother,
Yes.
you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hi, we're back on the bench. Andrew Della, Piana, Max Gifford. I said hi because Syracuse football was on a bye week.
I see what we did there.
Last week, right?
Yeah.
Well, you hear Syracuse, you hear bye week. The next week hasn't boded favorable results.
Oh, God.
A lot of L's on your screen you see right there. And look at that opponent at the top. Number 9 Notre Dame. Syracuse headed into South Bend. Scary stuff.
Yeah, that's probably the worst team I think you could play after a bye week. Because remember, the first bye week of the season, Ricky Collins comes back in action. Oh my goodness! All right, Ricky's going to be the new guy. They lose 38-3 to Duke. Do you see the spread for this game? It's at like 35.5. I think Notre Dame might cover that one in my opinion.
Yeah, right. I'm not necessarily a betting man, but
yeah,
if I was an expert, I would maybe give the edge to Notre Dame. The Orange currently in the middle of a 6-game skid, like Andrew mentioned. That spans back to September. That doesn't feel too far-fetched in the past, though, especially with number 9 Notre Dame up next as well. Even though we don't produce plutonium or have 1.21 gigawatts of electrical power, we still need to take a blast to the past to put in perspective how putrid this season could shape up to be. It really starts with the signal callers. Backup quarterbacks haven't been the calling card for Syracuse all season, or any season for that matter, since Garrett Schrader replaced Tommy DeVito against Liberty in 2021. DeVito would ultimately transfer after it was announced Schrader would get the starting spot. And we got 2 more years of Schrader, but you have to remember Carlos Del Rio Wilson didn't even win any games in that span either.
Yeah, Skylar Wilkes with the mask on right there couldn't save the Syracuse team right now. Let's keep the mask on. And the last time Syracuse lost 8 consecutive games, oh boy, look at the opponent. It's Notre Dame, a 45-21 loss, and a season that Syracuse went 1-10, their worst record since 2025. Notre Dame 21 unanswered points to end that first half, and Syracuse did not stand really a chance in that second half either, Max.
Kyron Williams really went from lighting up Syracuse to lighting me up in fantasy football. The Irish have won 5 straight in the season series, but the last time Syracuse beat them was when they suffered a loss when Notre Dame was 19.5-point favorites to a 2-8 Orange team that had already fired their head coach, and he blew a 13-point fourth quarter lead on its senior day, and things got so bad that Notre Dame students started throwing snowballs on the field.
How come you get all the positive ones? I get the negative ones. Last time Syracuse didn't have a 100-yard rusher in a game in a season, back when the iPhone came out in 2007, Curtis Brickley was the leading rusher right there. Just under 400 yards, eventually signed by the San Diego Chargers, but somehow Syracuse beat Louisville, number 18 Louisville that season. Oh, that feels like such a long time ago.
Well, there is no better time than the present, and great Scott!
Oh!
Josh Richardson!
I'm here!
You are here! You just spawned all of a sudden. It's like you came through on the DeLorean. Well, great Josh, thanks so much for joining us. We just mentioned Syracuse playing Notre Dame this weekend. 35.5-point spread. I know you're a big betting man yourself.
Whoa, just unbeat the bookie. Just unbeat the bookie.
Yeah,
that's what
right?
they want
Nowhere
you
else.
now.
Well, I don't know if you're going to be betting on this game or not this weekend, but you have to expect Notre Dame's probably going to come out on top. Who's going to do the most damage for the Irish this weekend?
Well, first of all, you're not allowed to bet on college teams in New York while standing in New York State. So, no, I will not be partaking in anything going on in New York State for Syracuse versus Notre Dame. But when talking about Notre Dame, the big thing that you have to take away from this one is how good the running back situation is for the Fighting Irish. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price are so good. Love, 6.5 yards per carry. Price has 9 touchdowns. Love has 14. I mean, those two guys, it is a two-headed monster in the backfield for Notre Dame. Syracuse, it goes on both sides for there too, because SU has the 3rd worst rushing defense in the entire ACC. Just really not a good combination where you're going up against two of the best running backs in all of college football.
Yeah, that is not a good combination at all. Bad rush defense, Jeremiah Love guy might win the Heisman. All right, let's stick with the Syracuse offensive side. Joe Filardi, Ricky Collins, maybe Steve Angeli on one leg. How many quarterbacks is Syracuse going to play in this game, Josh?
I would love to see Angeli go out there because he might still be better than what SU has had to offer over the last couple of weeks. I think that 2 quarterbacks are going to end up playing for Syracuse, mainly because, well, Fran Brown has already said Joe Filardi is going to be the starter. It'll be his 2nd start of the season after that North Carolina game. What he also said, though, and what is interesting, is Luke Carney is going to play either Saturday or next Saturday against Boston College because he doesn't want to burn Carney's red shirt. So he has one more game of eligibility that he can play this year before that red shirt eligibility kind of goes by the wayside. So I expect 2 quarterbacks to play. Maybe Carney comes in, maybe Ricky Collins comes in another backup role like he did against North Carolina. Where's Jakari Williams? That's my big question. That's a guy that's been in quarterback purgatory the whole season. He's been available every single week. He was questionable for two days up until that Miami game, but he was available on game day. He just hasn't played a single snap this season for Syracuse. Where is he? I think 1 quarterback will play in addition to Filardi on Saturday for the Cuse.
Well, Josh, my big question for you is what's the final score going to be in this game? Give me a prediction.
You said that you think Notre Dame's going to cover. Yeah. I think Notre Dame's going to cover, and it's going to be pretty good. I'd say maybe
a lot to a little, I think, is the answer.
3?
Oh my gosh,
I don't know. It's going to be a lot.
Josh, thanks so much for joining us. Well, just like Syracuse football is running upon the end of its season, we're running up against the end of this show, but we still got the most special time of the week ahead. Performers of the week, plays of the week. We reveal them when we return.
Precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
Not much time left on the bench with Andrew Della Piana. I'm Max Gifford. let's waste no time and get to our performers of the week. And we start on the hardwood with performer number 5, a player that struggled a little bit to start this season, but looked like a different woman against Wagner. Sophie Burrows, her first game in double digits of this season in terms of points, a team high in field goals in that contest as well. And I don't think a lot of people realize that she is the team leader in rebounds up to this point. And even if maybe the scoring results haven't been there, Sophie Burrows has made an impact on the box score every time she's been on the floor. And I think Coach Jack has said it best. The shots, they'll eventually fall.
She absolutely has gotten better with every single game. All right, let's switch to the other court now in volleyball. Lena Yamada has been phenomenal on that back line for Syracuse. Pure domination in the last week for the Cuse. They had a season-high 91 digs against NC State in that loss, and Yamada had 28 of those in that setback. Most digs by any player under Coach Babe. So they got that going for them. Maybe sliding a little bit with 7 straight losses, but Yamada, that libero is going to have to be massive in the middle for Syracuse to get back into it.
You talk about backline players. I think you know, I know, Bo knows.
That's true.
Bo Von Kempen knows she's the best backline player on this entire campus, and she's performer number 3. She has a handful of OTB Performer of the Week accolades this year, and for good reason. 4 goals in her final 3 games, including 2 in the NCAA tournament. She had points in 7 straight to end the season, capping off one of the best careers for a Syracuse international player in just 2 seasons as well. And she brings out the thumb for number 5 of this semester. What a semester it's been for BBK.
They are going to miss Bo Von Kempen a whole lot next season. She was phenomenal. But on to our next performer of the week. That goes back to the basketball court. Layla Feely, this backcourt getting a whole lot of love right now. The Texas transfer, she's been so great in her time here at SU, has been setting the tone offensively for this team. Look at that stat line. A perfect 15 points, 4 for 4, 2 for 2 from 3, and 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Doesn't get better than that. The way she is captain this offense right now, she's not just a scorer, but a facilitator. You're seeing it basically on every possession. They want to find number 5 with the basketball.
Well, for Syracuse men's basketball, which takes us to our top spot, this guy may have been quiet yesterday, but he made too much noise this weekend to not get our top spot for Performers of the Week. Kyan Anthony, he's had 15 plus points in his first 3 games. Would have had double digits last night if he didn't miss 3 free throws. And I'll tell you what, I don't care what the chat rooms or the subreddits are saying about this guy. Kyan Anthony has been amazing, and honestly, I think maybe he should start over JJ Starling right now. I mean, I should probably say that with my chest, but I truly think that JJ's playing a little injured, and I think Kyan is playing with someone to prove.
Well, Kyan's been one of those top guys in place of JJ Starling, so with that, it only seems natural that we go to our top plays of the week. One of our favorite segments, absolutely. We start in at number 5. We go back to Layla Feely with some magic in the far corner. Gets fouled on the 3-point attempt. Gets her right leg kicked out, but it doesn't matter. You can't go perfect 2 for 2 from behind the arc if maybe you don't sprinkle in a little 4-point play. She's feeling good right now. Syracuse clobbers Wagner in that one, 78-29.
Andrew, don't start tempting me. I'll start singing the Lumineers again.
Not again.
I know you know the song, I Spy with My Little Eye. Not Kyle the rapper, William Kyle with the poster board block on Jason Rivera-Torres. That was in the first minute of that Monmouth game. Syracuse eked out a close one. But what a start it's been for William Kyle.
On to play number 3. We saw it a little bit earlier in field hockey, but Jessie Iceland, ice in her veins with the game saver in that third quarter to keep it at 1-1 against Liberty on the penalty stroke, because if the Flames score, they go ahead 2-1. Syracuse doesn't win that game in overtime. Jessie Iceland, the Monmouth transfer actually, with a big stop for the Cuse.
And Dara St. Martin was the Big East Defender of the Year. Back to the basketball court for play number 2. William Kyle looking like a kangaroo on that pass from the Aussie Luke Fennell, putting another dunk on the barbie. My, oh my, how about Fennell finding Kyle to just jump and then slam? That's a man slam if I've ever seen one. And Kyle just continuing to impress on our plays of the week.
What was that accent, New Jersey?
It's a good one.
Austria. Well, we had things back down to New Jersey because Aubrey Turner, the true freshman, takes on the number 1 spot on the spin cycle for the winner in the penalty shootout against Liberty. Who else would you want to put in the 5th round to send you to the NCAA quarterfinals? Bo Von Kempen, maybe Patty Shrunk, but Aubrey Turner, the freshman, one more like, oh my goodness. That is disgusting stuff. Full-on laundry set for the goalie after that game.
The Pavel Datsyuk action, the Magic Man,
flip.
The Magic Woman,
Oh my goodness.
Aubrey Turner. I mean, unbelievable.
She'll have to be a massive part of that offense next year.
I think Lynn Farquhar finally figured out what shootout lineup worked.
Yeah.
Because they lost a couple earlier in the season, and that one was better than any you had seen the entire year. I don't think there's any bigger honor than getting the play of the week or performer of the week, but I'll tell you what, there's been no bigger honor for me and you than to work with this producing crew right here. Our associate producers, Bella Holleran, Charlie Scott, and Nick Zuppi, and of course our amazing executive producer, Matthew Parry. We can't thank them enough for the opportunity to work with them. Have a blessed Thanksgiving, everyone. For Andrew Della, Piana, I'm Max Gifford saying so long for now. Let's go to our images of the week.
Certain spots on the U.S. map considered to be basketball epicenters, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is unquestionably one of them. Here in the city of brotherly love, the Syracuse Orange battle the Drexel Dragons this afternoon. Back to Anthony, a long ball from the left wing. He makes it rain. Kyan Anthony with a perfect switch.
Drives to the right block. He missed the layup. Kyle comes through with the follow-up dunk. William Kyle all over the place today. But ultimately, Syracuse pulls away and tames the Dragons en route to an 80-50 win at Xfinity Mobile Arena.